Hello, and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, episode 269.
Nice.
Nice.
Where today we will be looking at Nemesis and Revulsion.
Gross. I mean, revolting.
I'm not sure why I stole Jake's bit, but there it is. Oh, I should have done a, Nemesis or... I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you should have made it sound like it was going to be the movie.
Or that. Or that, yeah. Oh, well.
It's kind of better than the movie, I think.
Ooh.
It's not
Oh, wait,
much.
Nemesis, yeah, no, Jesus.
Not-
I was
not-
confusing Nemesis with a good movie.
It's an incredibly low bar. It's an incredibly low bar.
So any movie, Chris, huh?
Yeah, because... Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Jurassic Park. Yeah, you're right. That movie sucks.
There are many movies I would rather rewatch than, I'd rather rewatch Nemesis than, for example, Star Trek Into Darkness.
Whoa!
Wow, that's...
I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't... I would watch... Well, actually, we have to eventually. But I would rewatch Into Darkness just out of curiosity at this point, because I don't really remember anything about it, except that I thought it was fucking dumb as shit.
It's bad.
That they had Benedict Bandersnatch as,
Khan, yeah.
Khan.
But wait, who the fuck are we? Well,
Khan.
I'm Chris.
This is Ames.
This is Caitlin.
And here's Jakey.
That's actually really appropriate in this one. I was
Barnabas
definitely
agrees.
waiting for Darjeeling there to pull a Here's Johnny at one point.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah, samesies.
But
He doesn't have
that's-
to pound down the door. He can just walk through it.
No, I know.
Ooh, oh, that's
But-
creepy.
That's our second episode. First
First, we gotta get through this other bullshit.
up in Nemesis. Yeah, no, I was gonna do the obvious joke, but you guys already said I should have and I blew it, let's be honest. So no cracks about the Romulans and the Remans.
All right, so there's a war between the Romulans and the Remans. Oh.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Wow.
In Star Trek Predator, we start off in a jungle, and guys in, very kind of, olive drab military fatigues and big old machine guns are running around looking for something, and they find it. And what it is in fact, Commander Chakotay.
Taking a leak or beaten off behind a tree or something.
Yeah.
I don't
He
know what
was
the fuck he was
clothed.
doing.
He was, luckily.
Thank God. Not for long, though.
Yeah, seriously. Hello, I am Chakotay. Strip.
That's why they kept him.
Yeah. So they take him to their encampment, and they're all like, forsooth, we talketh weird, and tell him about their long-running war with the...
Nemesis.
Kraden.
Hold on. Where? What? Oh, yes, there they are. Sorry, I went too far down the list. The Kraden.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in this one.
Yeah, there are. They are the Vori, and they're all like, trying to get these guys off our planet. They are ruthless. They steal our stuff. They desecrate our corpses. They do unspeakable things to our women and all that kind of stuff you hear about in war all the time.
Go to sleep and dream of your mothers and sisters.
Yeah, it was weird. And he's kind of stuck with them because his shuttle crashed, and he has to get in touch with Voyager.
Yet another shuttle down.
Yeah, seriously.
3 episodes in a row now.
So they he is sent along with a scout. The scout is killed.
Whoops.
Luckily, the whole squadron was conveniently close by, and they're like, "Well, yeah, put on this uniform because you kind of stand out in your bright red shoulder pads." He's like, "Fine," and he's trained on a gun with Rafin, who is all like, "I'm a coward," and Chakotay's like, "No, you're not. You're a good man. Being scared is normal." And they bond, and then Rafin dies in a raid.
Whoops.
And then they find, a guy from the 7th platoon or whatever murdered via sun exposure, and also, bolted down so that he can't turn face down, because that's, part of their death rite. And then they realize, oh no, the whole 7th platoon has been wiped out. And then there's an ambush. And they flee, and Chakotay's separated from everyone, and he's shot. And he makes his way to a village, and they're all like, "Hello, Defender!" And he passes out, really kind of comically. And he comes to, and the child befriends him, and the old man is like, "Oh, you fought well. You are our Defender, even if you are a visitor." And then there's a raid!
Whoops.
And
Parade!
Nausicaa-ass-looking Kraden are there. And they're brought to a work camp, and they're gonna kill all the old people because they're useless to work. And
I'm glad someone finally said it.
and there's this whole to-do, and I forget how exactly, but Chakotay escapes, and then he runs into
Tuvok.
Brone,
Oh.
who was the leader of the little group he'd been hanging with. He's like, everyone else is dead, but come on, let's go, and we're gonna meet up with some other platoon. And
Oh, yeah. Brone found him tied to the ground.
that's right. That's how he didn't escape. He was.
Sorry you were turned up to the sun for so long, or whatever.
Yeah. But then there's a raid. So
Another one.
Parade.
But one of the aliens is like, Chakotay, it's me, Tuvok, and he's like, no, you're clearly a Nausicaan that fucked a predator.
I don't remember Tuvok having a weird vagina mouth.
Yeah.
Don't.
I feel like I'd remember that.
But then he's all like, they brainwashed you. Oh, yeah, shit, I jumped ahead. Because, yeah, there'd been a scene or two on Voyager where they were like, yeah, I've been talking to the ambassador, there's a war, this and that. They're going to send some commandos to help us. And shock, the Predator-looking aliens are the ones Voyager has been talking to. While
They're the good guys-ish?
maybe, who knows?
No one.
So,
At least the less bad guys.
maybe. So anyway, long story short, it turns out Chakotay had been basically in a very elaborate brainwashing propaganda scheme. Everything was fake. No one really died. He finds the village he'd been at, and they're all like, hello, Defender! And he's like, fuck. And then, despite knowing exactly what he's just been through, the ambassador of the Predator, Nausicaan, shows up to be like, how you doing? And he's like, this is weird. The end.
Before he died, I was starting to think this was all going to be a spin-off for That's So Rafen.
Make that joke again next week, Caitlin.
Why?
Because we have an episode called The Raven coming up.
Damn it!
It's true, we do.
Well, I don't want to repeat myself more than I always do.
So, what did everyone think?
I liked it up until the end, and I don't think it needed the brainwashing twist.
Okay, because I was gonna say the twist felt kind of unearned, but I wasn't sure if that was just me.
It felt like it would have been a more interesting statement if it were just about propaganda and getting caught up in propaganda than it having been a brainwashing thing, because watching Chakotay kind of fall in and see, oh yeah, this is all horrible, I should be on your side because of all the stuff you're telling me. Because Chakotay, naturally the person who listens to other people, who is the compassionate one, who uses his ability to connect with others as his kind of superpower.
The terrorist with a heart of gold.
Seriously. He's able to see what these people are talking about and say, oh yeah, this sucks that you guys are being attacked all the time, I should help you, and then have the table be flipped on him is kind of interesting. And it didn't need oh, by the way, we were using all these techniques to fuck with you. I don't think it needed it.
Yeah, well, I agree.
Yeah. I also think that, because, we're predisposed to not, to side with the humans over the Nauticans.
I like that. That's a good one.
So I think, I think that it's enough of a twist that it turns out that
Agreed.
The humans are the bad guys. Or even, I think it's, and it is kind of left somewhat ambiguous, who are actually the bad guys.
Who shot down Chakotay's shuttle? Because we're told it was the Kraden, but we don't know.
They're probably all assholes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a perfectly legitimate message about war as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this kind of makes one side more, even despite the whole we're leaving it open thing, there does seem to be a side by the end that is explicitly kind of worse. Because it conscripts people in a freaky way.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little of, the episode in TOS where they're fighting a war with computers and the computer decides how many of you die at any given time. And both sides are just dicks.
Yeah, they're both idiots.
It's probably like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that twist at the end was, just so not needed or, again, earned. And I realized in retrospect, the only hint that something was awry was just the fact that the whole platoon was there the split second Chakotay's buddy was killed. Not buddy, but the guy he was scouting with.
Rafen.
Huh?
Rafen.
No, that was later. The original guy he went with because
guy.
Rafen was too chicken.
You're right. He had the trembles.
Yeah, it was wow, were they basically 2 feet behind after all that? But I thought that was just lazy storytelling, not an attempt to hint that something was afoot.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I kind of sorted it out once we didn't see they kept referring to, Ambassador Fuckface and
on the ship.
Yeah, we never, and it wasn't
They only
until
said
they beam
Nemesis.
aboard. Yeah, so I thought that was, I think it was still a good twist, but yeah, it wasn't exactly.
Well, that part, the fact that Voyager was talking to the other side, I thought was nice.
Yeah,
but I meant the twist, the whole brainwashing twist.
Yeah, they just didn't need a double twist. They could have gone with one twist. They didn't have to M. Night Shyamalan ding dong this thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think they still could have done a double twist, but the double twist would be, the first twist is, Voyager's working with the enemy, and then the second twist is, wait, maybe they're not the enemy.
Maybe they're both bad. Maybe we should just order 24 this planet.
Yeah.
But okay. I'm glad it wasn't just me, because I was like, is it just me? Am I just being a jerk? But
yeah, no, I was here for this episode up until that twist, because it's like, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing. It's a great. It's perfectly in character for Chakotay. I know we're extra vigilant in watching what Chakotay does because there's such a penchant for screwing him over as a character. Yeah. And I thought he was fine. I thought Beltran did a good job.
Yeah. It was kind of funny where it's like when he's first out with the other guy, it's like, it's like to have a nemesis. No. It's like, you literally joined a terrorist organization to fight off people who you felt had stolen your planet. What are you talking about? And then the next day, he's like, yes, I fought against the Cardassians. You didn't seem to remember that yesterday.
I mean,
well, he wasn't being brainwashed yet.
They didn't steal his planet. They stole his sphere.
Oh, yeah, oh god.
Yeah, can you fathom that?
I appreciated what they were trying, but the execution just was awful.
I didn't mind. I actually kind of like, because we meet lots of aliens, and by and large, they all speak English, and not only do they speak English, they speak it in the same way,
in the same vernacular. Yeah,
Americans would speak it. Obviously, the English can be explained by the universal translator, but the fact that they would use, aliens in the Delta Quadrant would be using, 20th century American dialect is kind of odd.
Yeah, the idea of playing with it was good. It's just, to me, it felt less like they really thought it through and just more like whipped open the thesaurus and found the first word for every word they wanted instead of really kind of putting more thought into what words they should use.
Yeah,
also...
Go ahead.
Well, you kind of made the point that
oh, well, Chakotay starts talking like the natives, and I turned to Chris and I was like, sort of feels like when you go to order deli meat and you, watch The Sopranos, so you're like, I need some prosciutto and some mozzarella. It's like, stop yourself.
Gabagool.
That's actually not when you kind of, at first when she was making fun of it, it was like, it felt like an attempt to go Shakespearean without knowing what Shakespeare sounds like.
Oh, I don't remember saying that, but...
well, you kept doing all these fake Shakespeare lines.
Forsooths, yeah, I was forsoothing quite a bit.
So, yeah, again, I appreciate the idea, but I just feel like the execution was slightly off.
See,
I wonder if the fact that Chakotay assumed it was intended to be, an element in the brainwashing, I
kind of wondered that after the reveal, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The more he started talking like them, the more he was brainwashed.
Yeah. What were we going to say?
It makes oh, go ahead, sorry.
Two things. A, I think the Chakotay picking it up didn't need the brainwashing. I think if he just did that naturally because he started seeing from their point of view, would have been enough. And I thought, that was a good progression of his character to show that when he starts, speaking, talking of glimpses and footfalls and all this stuff, I got it.
It just makes communication easier. You know what I mean?
It did.
Yeah.
It was a good way to show he's picking this up, not necessarily because he's being brainwashed, because that's a bad idea, bad unnecessary idea, but just to show his level of empathy. Second thing, I get I so enjoyed that they did this. The fact that they've never done it before makes it stick out like fucking crazy, because it's such an obvious idea. It reminded me, there was a great skit I saw of a young couple, a British person and an American person having a baby together, and them just going to the store saying, I want to buy that perambulator, and the other one saying, what are you talking about? We need a stroller, not a whatever the fuck you just said, and them not knowing, each other's words for things.
Yeah.
That never comes up in Star Trek when different societies have different words for things.
And I feel like there's a good chance it never will again.
I have 3 words for you.
Mm-hmm.
Eplagnista.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, why?
What?
The Omega
Fucking-
glory. Yikes.
Yeah. The Yangs and the Coons, TOS.
I don't remember this.
You're better
terrible-
off.
Yeah. Where it turned out they like parallelly developed and had the U.S. Constitution and all that shit, and they wasted a perfectly great Crazy Man performance on a terrible episode.
Who was the crazy man?
He had
Admiral
played
or something.
He appeared twice. I forget if this is his first or second appearance, but thank you. Both times he appeared, he was like Fish Eye Lens crazy, and he was really good at it.
Yeah, he'd previously also been Van Gelder.
Yeah, from the like Nut House episode.
But yeah, I so got what they were going for.
Yeah.
And it's just that you've never done this has never happened before. This should happen anytime we meet a race, and the universal translator is translating what they're saying, but not necessarily what they're meaning. Because normally the translator seems to pick up on idiom.
Yeah,
It seems to translate it not only to like the word that you're looking for, but the word that you're looking for in your dialect.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little strange, even though on a one-off episode, it's an interesting idea.
It is. You know what I think vaguely related to this? Because the one thing for me was like, there was a scene where Chakotay started using some of the lingo, and then by the next scene, he was just in it completely. And I think what you have with this episode, and this maybe also is like sort of responsible for the unnecessary brainwash element, like the shoot, this is an episode that to actually really like make sense would be something that would take more time.
That's a good point.
Than they could realistically give him on the world.
Yeah, because on the shoot they did that brain plug-in to make sure it happened in the amount of time an episode took place in.
Yeah, like this is something that if you just had like regular propaganda and real shitty encounters over the course of say months, you know, and he'd slowly pick up the lingo till by the end he's talking just like them. But they were like, all right, we need to do this story, but we need it to take like 48 hours. Let's say there's brainwashing and drugs involved. Which is too bad, because I think, you know, if they had the freedom to be like, you know, even if you still told it in the space of one episode, but there was like skipped time and time lapses and whatever. But I think it's the same issue the shoot had, where they're constrained by like, they're not gonna look for him for months in the Delta Quadrant.
No, they'd leave him. They'd say he's happier here. Leave him for dead.
He's built so many tubs.
He's always ready to fucking just give up and stay on the planet he's found. Let's just let him do what he loves. And that's what I said as soon as the episode started. I was like, God damn it, is he going to have to build another fucking tub?
Well, no, see, the best part is, you hadn't read the episode description, and they hadn't shown Chakotay yet. But you said, are they stranded on a planet, and how many tubs is Chakotay going to have to build? And I had read the episode description, so I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that opening scene, because Jake and I watched it during the day instead of in the evening, so we had light glare all over the living room. So I could literally see nothing that was happening on the screen except various bodies moving in woods.
I mean, I gotta tell you, we don't, like, we watch it during the day as well, but our TV is such that there's no glare on it. You still can't see much.
Oh, good.
It's just not a well-lit scene.
Well, that and I don't pay attention anyway, so I was like, oh, why are they running around the woods with guns? He's like, those are none of the crew of the Voyager.
Those are clearly not phaser rifles. It would have been a pointless comedy moment, but, you know, like, maybe not a comedy moment, you could have played it straight, but the fact that the first time he fires the gun, he seems to be ready for recoil was sort of disappointing. Chakotay, I mean, because he's used to weapons that don't have recoil.
I imagine they've trained on other weapons in, like, the holodeck, though.
Yeah, but I feel like if it's something you don't deal with regularly, you might, like, either not think about it or just not be as braced for it as you should, maybe, if it's been a while.
And not to mention the guy teaching him literally was like, oh, yeah, you gotta shoot higher. These guns don't, like, aim correctly. It's like, you could have started with that, you jerk off.
Oh, and his buddy Raffin, appropriately enough to, you know, military propaganda, was in Starship Troopers.
Oh, was he? Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, he was one of the many doomed squad members. I don't remember him specifically, but I was like, he's kind of familiar, and I looked him up, and yeah. Which actually came out around this time. I think this came out a little bit earlier.
Oh, good for him.
Typecast much? Damn.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to move up to what's happening up on the ship.
Yes.
Because they did the whole we're not gonna hint that the ambassador is a Crane, we're just gonna call him the ambassador and call their nemesis the Nemesis. And there's one point where Janeway asks Neelix, what do you know about this war? And he's able to say something, and I'm like, wait a minute, we're well out of any space that Neelix is familiar with. But then
I said the exact same thing.
I kind of wonder, because spoilers for Revulsion, Ambassador Neelix is on the case, doing his ambassador thing now. It seems to have started in this episode, so I assume he got this information from Trian.
Yeah. Well, because they had mentioned ages ago, like, he was made ship's ambassador in that episode where he was going to run out of space, he knew.
Mm-hmm.
But this seems to be the first time they've acknowledged that he actually does do that now. Like, it's his job to kind of get the information they'll need.
Yeah, chat up aliens. You love it. You love that stuff, Neelix.
Kind of like what they were using Troy for in the early days of TNG. Like, it was her job to get the dossiers together on the cultures.
Mostly
Since
just
she was really no good with telling what people were thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
And even worse at being a therapist.
I would argue that even though he doesn't have psychic powers, Neelix is probably a better empath than Troy.
Once again, an extremely low bar.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job last week with B'Elanna, or a few weeks ago. In the gift, she was down, and he made her feel a little better.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
No, Day of Honor. Sorry, the gift was the other episode that week. Yeah, not a lot from the ship side, though. They did focus mostly on the Chakotay thing, which is good. I don't think this needed, like, a B-plot.
Yeah, if there were a B-plot, like, the next episode we're going to be talking about.
The doctor learns to tie shoes.
Neat. Also, I know that Jerry Ryan wasn't in this episode because they were still catching up on all of her scenes in Scorpion Part 2 because there was a lot of stuff that they needed her in the cat suit for, or not the cat, the Borg suit for, to go back and do all that shit. So she wasn't in this one.
I was kind of wondering, actually, as we watched Revulsion, and I don't know if you'll have come across this in your research, but were these originally supposed to air in opposite order?
Oh, I know. Yeah, the whole first couple episodes are all in mishmash order. Because the gift was supposed to be the 5th episode, and then it became the 2nd episode, and then I think you're right. These two may have flip-flopped.
Yeah, just because in Revulsion they mention, like, it's been 3 days since Day of Honor.
Yeah, Day of Honor was between these two originally in order.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. It's like, wow, so they just picked up Tom and B'Elanna, and right away Chakotay crashed on that moon, and the split second he gets back, he's having Harry put together a thing with Seven. So, oh god, though, speaking of right away, it will take Chakotay who knows how long to deal with the psychological impact. And I'm just thinking we will never speak of this again.
Oh, no, not at all. Although I do really like the final line, like, it's so easy, or I wish it were easier to stop hating than it is to start.
Yeah.
Good line. Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, like, if not for the second twist, I think it would have been a way better episode.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good episode, but in retrospect, it's kind of retroactively made a little less good by that, you know?
Yeah, like Threshold.
Yeah. It's like I said, they really do seem to get what they're doing with Chakotay at this point, and it was a very Chakotay episode in a lot of ways.
Mm.
That little girl, that little bad actress little girl was
giving me
awful.
So bad.
Big Miri vibes.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Mm.
Usually I'm not good at, like, noticing really terrible acting, and even I was like, ooh, she is really not good.
Not at all. Also, like, speaking of the, like, thesaurus aspect of the writing, having them use crave for want made some of those conversations creepy.
So creepy.
Oh, that is. I didn't notice crave.
I thought everybody was offering pussy to Chakotay.
Yeah, it was really like,
do you crave anything else? It was weird enough when the old lady cougar said it. Then when the little 12-year-old said it, I was like, I am not comfortable.
It's like, you should have chosen any fucking other word. Any other synonym for
anything
want,
else,
fellas.
Oh, desire would be pretty bad too.
Yeah, but there's something.
Require would have been fine.
There we go.
Blech.
And even though it was actually just part of the whole scheme, I did like, though, that they were like, look, you've got to put this on. You kind of stand out in your bright red-ass uniform.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
If it's a chance for me to be naked briefly, yeah.
Oh, God, I hope when we finally meet him in Prodigy, that does not come up.
It's for kids. It won't.
Look away, children. I have to make first contact. What are you doing? I said look away.
Yikes.
Woof.
Yikes and woof. I forgot that we were going to see Chakotay in Prodigy. That makes me
I
excited.
mean,
all over
maybe.
again.
He's been mentioned. We don't know if we'll see him proper.
Maybe he's being brainwashed again.
He's
Chakotay.
stranded on a planet. He has built so
Many
many
tubs.
I hope he's okay.
That was
Well, in
good.
this one, he's
I liked
apparently
that.
Chakotay. You noticed that.
Oh, I hated it. That was
The little guy in the village, insisted on pronouncing the ch as sh.
Chakotay.
Weird.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either, but when she pointed it out, I couldn't unhear it.
Why does this man keep calling him Chakotay?
That's chocolatey enough.
Chocolatey.
What's next?
Anything else? Yeah,
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, no, I
Moving
think we were really focused for once. Look at us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't ruin it by drawing attention to it. Let's just move on.
Nope, already in my mouth.
Oh, no.
Oh, gross.
Sorry, that's an old M-ism. Next up.
Oh, sorry. That's an old inside joke that
Yeah.
everybody that listens to this podcast will totally appreciate.
Yeah. Next up in Revulsion, we meet a dead guy, and he's dragged away by some guy badly cosplaying Data. And then he starts to flicker, and we're like, oh, he's like a Data hologram. And he sends out a distress call, being all like, I'm a hologram on this ship, and my crew's dead because of
Reasons.
an accident.
A
Send help.
disease.
Yep. And then cut to the Voyager, where we're having the Dean Martin roast of Tuvok because he's being promoted to Lieutenant Commander. And some talk is happening, it doesn't matter. And then it's like, Captain, there's a message, bring the doctor for some reason. And rather than go, is there a medical emergency, she just goes, okay.
Don't
Excuse me,
forget
sorry.
all the making out Torres and Paris do.
Oh, I did forget about that. Yeah, they meet in the hall and kiss, because like I said,
Suck face.
it's 3 days since Revulsion, since Day of Honor, and they apparently haven't talked about the whole dying love confession thing. It's like,
Remember when you said that you loved me? I mean, I'm sure you didn't mean it. Oh, no, I did.
but you know, you don't have to. It was like high schoolers. It was weird.
Check,
So, yeah.
check yes, Shakar.
Nope, nailed it.
This
So
is what happens when I rewatch Deep Space Nine. I can finally make relevant comments about Deep Space Nine. One series too late.
yeah, we go to the bridge, and they're all listening to the message, and the doctor's like, I'll lead an away team, and Janeway's like, I'm sorry, what? And he convinces her, though, to let me go, I want to be another hologram.
I want to help my friend.
Yeah, so him and B'Elanna take a shuttle to see what's going on this ship, and they meet, what is it?
Dejarin.
Dejarin, who, again, he's a hologram, and he's all like, oh, yeah, virus killed all the crew, yeah, virus. And B'Elanna's like, okay, well, I'll help clean and fix things, and, where's your reactor? Like, oh, no, don't go to the reactor, large leak, radiation everywhere, how are you? And, thank you. So they're, B'Elanna's helping repair things, and the doctor's chilling with Dejarin, and,
He went to Dejarin.
Dejarin is really impressed by the doctor's relative freedom as compared to his, the fact that he's treated like an equal by the crew, where it sounds like the crew maybe treated Dejarin kind of shitty. Dejarin brings B'Elanna some lunch. We introduce Chekhov's cable. And also the fact that he's maybe a little kind of completely insane.
You
Oh,
nibbled
thoroughly.
like a fish.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, nibble like a fish. I forgot about that.
I'm going to
likes
take that
fish.
as a compliment, you
He does.
crazy motherfucker.
He makes himself a hollow fish,
I
even,
like
which
the
is
fish.
important later. So yeah,
Everybody likes the fish.
B'Elanna goes to the doctor and is like, hey, so your new buddy is Fisheye Lens fucking crazy.
Call Van Gelder.
Fish Islands.
Yeah, and the doctor's like, I don't know. I mean, he sounds like he was treated kind of bad. So yeah, he's a little resentful. And B'Elanna's like, no. There's little resentful, and then there is, he wants to eat my skin, and he is the latter.
He doesn't want to eat her skin. He would be disgusted
No,
by the
that's true.
suggestion.
That's true.
Feed it to the fish.
Yes.
Ew.
So the doctor's like, look, let me just talk to him and stuff. And B'Elanna's like, fine, but I'm going to, make like an emergency shutdown thing. He's like, yeah, that's fair. Eventually he does flip his lid. He goes full hollow, like, shoves his hand into B'Elanna's chest to crush her heart. Luckily, she managed to turn him off just in time. She's like, yeah, shut down all the holo emitters. And the doctor's like, but wait, his pet fish is still here. And he reappears, clunks B'Elanna on the head, tries to kill the doctor.
And then bitches about her bleeding everywhere. Like, listen, dude, shit.
Unclean.
But, like, he's, doctor's like, yeah, no, we're both holograms, dummy. But then the other hologram's like, yeah, but you have a mobile emitter, dummy. And turns the doctor off. And then B'Elanna kills the hologram with Chekhov's cable. B-plot, Harry is sent to fix astrometrics with 7. He winds up with a boner. Tom, who has been put in charge of sickbay for the time being, is like, you just have the worst taste.
Yeah.
And then he's, like, tries to have a work date.
We all met Lippy.
Like, yeah. And he's like, oh. And he's like, she's like, oh, you want to fuck. And he's like, wait, what? No. She's like, sure you do. All right, fine. And he's like, never mind. Never fucking mind. The end.
Woof. Yeah, I didn't need any of that. I don't understand why that was even a thing.
Yeah,
other than Berman wanted to make sure everyone knew we're all aware Seven's hot. So it's in this episode.
My problem is they've made another fucking incel character who's played by a minority actor.
I think his actions were less incel-y and just more awkward teenager. He's definitely too old to be acting like that still.
Well,
again, though, you're dealing with someone who's, like, literally not been around people for a billion years, and she has no idea how the fuck to relationship.
And she's also, like, very forward, too. Once she realizes that he's got a boner, she's like, oh, okay, want to do it? He's like,
you'll be more efficient if you get this out of the way, Harry Kim.
So I have one really unimportant thing to moan about before we move on.
Oh man, I wonder what it is.
Tom has the most medical experience of any. We have seen random blue shirts acting as nurses in the background in the past. Even if they're not medical, but sciences, they have more recent medical experience than he does.
Well, but also this is just a callback, because remember when before Kess became a nurse, they literally said the same shit then too.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Though Tom relishes having a desk, clearly. He's very happy there.
It's also just, a fact of production that if you need to have a backup doctor, it has to be a member
of the main crew. Yeah,
but I mean,
like rando number 3.
Where's Chell? We missed Chell.
They just didn't have to do it at all, though. They just for some reason.
Well, it was good that they did, because Seven got her hand all broked this episode.
That's true.
And if he hadn't been there, she probably would have bled out. I mean, honestly.
Those little, like, the B-plot was mostly like, why? But the few little moments where she was like, oh, I'm not regenerating. This sucks.
Yeah.
Or, don't worry, I can grab an exposed wire and not go all Frank Grimes because of my metal hand. And just have it, oh, I could detach this more easily, but you took my stuff. Like, those were nice little moments, but it was sadly mostly about Harry being 17.
Ugh. I was so mad. And it was immediately apparent. I was like, God damn it, does Harry Kim have a no.
Yeah, apparently Garrett Wong also gets, like, a lot of flack from fans and stuff that are like,
didn't write the fucking
why
episodes.
Didn't you go for it? And he's like, because I didn't write the episode. What the fuck, guys? Come on.
Why are people so stupid?
Why
did you choose to swear so much in this show?
Legitimate criticism a play we saw got. Because apparently the actors just make up the lines as they go. But the main plot...
Oh, I have one more thing. I have one more thing about the B-plot. And that's that the, telling Harry Kim to undress scene was one of the audition pieces for the role of 7 of 9. And Jerry Ryan has basically said, if the audition had only been that scene and I hadn't seen that there's other stuff that this character does, I wouldn't have bothered auditioning.
That is fair. She did deliver it very well, though.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, main plot. Did anyone recognize our boy DeJaren?
I wouldn't have if I didn't look him up.
Yeah, like I didn't. I was like, this guy's familiar, but it wasn't until I looked him up that I realized he was a flaky boy in DS9.
One of Hennick's bonded men.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, you didn't say that.
I forgot he was one of them specifically. I just saw he was a flaky boy and moved on. because he was also that Romulan changeling.
Yeah, Lovok.
Thank you, who helped
Tane.
befuddle Anabran Tane and ruin his day.
Womp womp.
Whoopsie.
And we're going to see him once more in Enterprise, apparently.
Oh, fun.
Good for him.
No, he was really good
He's
in this.
great.
I'm so troubled by this episode because it could have been so much better for many reasons. Okay, reason one, the very first scene, we see the crewman. He's bleeding everywhere. Djarin is dragging him away. And the second he says everyone died of disease, you know, in the fucking teaser, he is lying. And they don't let that be a reveal later. Son of a bitch.
Unless it was Ebola.
That comes out your eyes, not the back of your head.
It comes out of all your orifices.
Well, the back of your head doesn't have an orifice.
Didn't he say in the distress call that there was an accident?
Yes, actually, he did.
But when he talked to Voyager, he said it was a disease or something, didn't he? Am I nuts?
Yeah, but see,
he couldn't get his story straight. Was
an accidental disease.
And that's
yeah, but they didn't see the teaser.
Well, that's more to Aim's point, though. Like, if we hadn't had the teaser, and we see, in the distress call he says an accident, but now he's saying it's a virus. What's going on? It could have been a fun, again, maybe if you don't notice, you're later on, you're like, oh shit. Or you notice right away and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Let's be real, I didn't notice.
I don't know. I think it was pretty clear when he was dragging the dead body away and scrubbing the blood that he was.
He wasn't scrubbing the blood. He was just spreading the blood.
Yes, he was. He was doing a bad job.
For someone who likes it clean, he's really bad at it, guys. I mean, for that matter, I feel like we also didn't need when Torres and Doctor first beam over, and he's looming in the shadow, holding up a hammer or some shit to club somebody with. And I feel like they telegraphed way too early that something was going to be creepy with this guy, and it would have been a more interesting build.
I think it would have been interesting if the story was that they had been attacked and boarded. Yeah, because then you could believe that
Djarin's ship, or
Djarin's ship, but he was like, I had to hide because we were boarded and they murdered all the crew. But then we wouldn't have the big reveal of the dead bodies in the basement.
Which was fucking horrific, by the way.
Yeah, even though it was coming, it was like, oh, that one seems particularly weird. I liked the guy, his freakouts were performed well, and even when he was trying to be normal, there was definitely a layer of something's off with this guy.
He's very twitchy.
I forget if it was while we were recording or not, but I did mention The Shining earlier, and it's kind of like...
here's Jakey.
Part of the reason, what's his name? Stephen King objected to Jack Nicholson's casting in The Shining was he felt like it just gave away the fact that the character was going to lose his mind.
Because Jack Nicholson is just so good at losing his mind, or what?
Yeah, because it's like, it's Jack Nicholson, of course he's going to go nuts.
Yeah, I mean, his most famous role prior to that was
the Joker.
Cuckoo's
Nest.
Yeah, no, Joker would be 20 years later.
Okay, I have 0 sense of time. So,
geez, Ames, why do you always have to bring this show back to Batman?
I don't know, guys.
Wow, it really was. It was your fault this time.
So speaking of Batman,
no,
I know, I'm just kidding. I kid.
But I also mentioned though one thing that did kind of I found weird was that they did sort of give him Data's skin.
Yeah,
which was a weird, distracting choice.
And I was wondering, I wonder if maybe originally he was supposed to be an android, and then they changed it to a hologram, but that wouldn't make sense.
But even that would have been a weird choice. Just it's like, why make him look like an artificial being we've already seen?
Yeah, unless the people, and we only get to see the people, as their corpses, unless they look like that, and they just made him in their image, but they look like just normal people, so.
Yeah, they don't have the weird skin. And also, what was doubly bad about it was it didn't go all the way down to his shirt.
Oh, no.
The makeup stops... It doesn't stop dead at the bottom of his neck, but it kind of dissipates. It was like, guys, you couldn't have either put more makeup or given him a higher collar. Pick one.
Maybe both, just to be safe.
Yeah, that was distracting too.
So do we think that they just had a bunch of Data makeup left over hanging around, or
maybe?
I'm guessing whoever was directing the episode said to the makeup people oh, he's an artificial life form, so make him look kind of not right. And they're like, artificial life form. I've done that before. Give me the Ben Nye to the tub of Ben Nye juice.
Do you have any yellow contact lenses still? Yeah, so I saw an argument, because, the Djarin character, great at being a cuckoo bird. And, there's an argument that I saw from a reviewer who basically said, I wonder if the organics who were so bad to him also like abused him in a sexual or in a psychological way. And they likened it to like how they treat Gigolo Joe in AI as what they do to this non-person as a way that because they don't see him as a sentient being. And what does that do to his character? And this episode doesn't really go into any of that. There's like literally one line where Djarin says, they treated me really badly, they abused me. And that's all he really says. But I feel like there's a lot that could have been mined in this character that would have made his hatred of organics something like really tangible. And I don't know if I like it the way it is, or if I would have liked it better if we'd known more, or which. But
I don't mind knowing less, because at the end of the day, he's just a damaged person, and regardless of how he got that way, I don't know. I like the fact that I feel like more backstory wouldn't necessarily have added
exactly.
more.
Yeah. Sometimes you paint the picture too detailed that you miss what would have been like something you could have interpreted yourself.
One thing that was a little annoying for me was like they've kind of like already completely erased Kess from the show. And that, like, the way the Doctor's talking about when he was first activated, like, oh, this and that, I didn't, at first, I had to fight for the things I deserved. And it was like, yes, which at first you didn't even realize you deserved until someone told you.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, Kess fought for him for some of these things. And Janeway even fought for him for some of these things. Like, when he says, like, oh, I had to fight for the right to turn off my process, Janeway offered that to him without him ever asking for it.
Yeah, they kind of retconned that a little, and it's like, guys, that's not how it was. Hold on.
Also, he still doesn't... We just dropped the Doctor getting a name thing, and now just bring it up every so often just to remind us, but not actually build it to anything.
I like your idea, though.
What's that?
What was my idea?
Name him after the fish.
No, he could be Dr. Graham, since he's a hologram.
Oh, I like that one! Oh, that's brilliant, Caitlin!
Thanks.
I don't know why, but for some reason I thought it would have been nice if at the end of the episode he had the fish.
Right? I kind of had the same thought.
I don't know. That's a murder fish.
Then like the fish starts whispering to him.
I was just going to say the fish has been telling him to kill.
That's the thing. He wasn't abused. They downloaded a virus, and the virus was the fish.
Oh my god.
He was fucking spyware, that fish.
What a twist! Oh god.
Or like, even if it wasn't that fish, if the Doctor like decided to have a fish, a pet or something,
Yeah, but Picard had a fish.
Because this is kind of the first being like himself that he's met.
He just gets himself a Neopet. Come on.
Yeah, and it reminded me a lot of when Odo met
yeah, I was thinking that. What's his name?
I keep wanting to say
Las?
Las.
Oh, the other one that was sent out into the world.
And it's the same thing, because Odo's like, oh, I like the solids, and he's like, the solids are fucking assholes. Let me kill some for you. Here you go.
Like you
do. So it reminded me very, very much of that episode.
That's a good comparison. Yeah,
I'm glad you remembered to bring that up, because I had already forgotten that. Because I thought the same thing during, and then was just like, remember like a sieve.
How was that?
Although Lost was, again, he was just more of he was kind of smug about the solids, but more just like, let's just avoid them. I was a cow for a while. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Had a cow wife and everything.
I was a cow for a while, and man, I was delicious.
Yeah, I think the idea is that, like, I guess it didn't really make that much of an impact on Odo, but I feel like he learned stuff from Lost.
Yeah.
And it would have been interesting, I think, even though, what's his face in this episode was a total nut job, if the Doctor had taken something from
to heart.
Yeah.
Well, what's cool, too, is, like, he could totally have had, like, an awesome hollow fish that just kind of floats through the air, doesn't even need to be, like, in a tank if he wanted. How neat would that be? You walk into sickbay, and there's the Doctor's friggin' hollow fish just wiggling by your head.
I feel like that would be kind of creepy.
Nah, it sounds awesome.
Okay.
Just gotta make sure to turn him off when there's, like, actual emergencies, because we, like, kind of really fuck up the feeling of the situation. 10 cc's of something or other. Stat. Fish wiggles by.
Oh, maybe he named the fish Stat.
Oh, Stat could have been his new nurse. Give it one of those old-timey nurse hats. A little flip up front.
Oh, what did you guys think of the hologram fight before they realized that they could just take out the mobile emitter?
Oh, that gave me a good chuckle.
It was so cute.
Because first he swipes through the doctor, like, sighs and throws his briefcase through him and is like, really, bitch? And then Dajarin's like, you've got a vulnerable point unlike me. Boop.
Mm.
Until B'Elanna picks up some random wire thing.
No, it
wasn't random. They telegraphed that shit.
Yeah, the telegraphing was good. That was a good use of telegraphing, unlike some of the early moments in this episode in which Dajarin was just clearly nutcase.
Yeah, but when he like almost stepped in, she's like, "Watch out, that could destabilize you." I was like, "And there is Chekhov's cable."
Good for Torres.
Say that. I can confirm that.
Yeah, good for her. Good for her surviving fucking having her ventricle punctured by a
She's a Klingon. She's got like 12 ventricles, probably.
But how fucking terrifying is that like...
Oh, yeah.
Holograms apparently can just reach inside of you and crush your organs.
Makes sense.
Seriously,
you walk through that wall.
That's a whole extra layer of the doctor they all need to worry about now.
Well, why doesn't the doctor just perform surgery that way? That seems way better than ever cutting anybody open.
The issue there, though, is that you need some fine, delicate work and... sausage fingers.
But
let's be honest,
he can make his fingers into anything he wants.
Yeah, he can make them into little Edward Scissorhand things. Edward scalpel hands.
Here's the thing, though. They so rarely actually have to go in there anymore. So much of surgery is just magic rays they wave at people.
Yeah, there you go. Your open heart surgery is successful.
Yeah. But yes, again, that is definitely not utilizing him to his fullest.
Yeah, Torres was doing her normal badass stuff, but I kept thinking, like, where? So they weren't in communication with the Voyager because the Voyager was doing something else? Marks.
There was a dampening field.
Okay, there was a dampening field.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Why only send Torres and Doctor and not anyone else?
I mean, there's no good reason for them to have sent a shuttle as opposed to the whole ship, except then it made the story easier to tell.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's really all it is, unfortunately.
Yep.
Rats.
Like, they didn't even come up with some kind of excuse like, oh, we really, really want to look at this nebula like they've done before.
Somebody needs to hang out here and make sure that Harry doesn't act on his weird 7 of 9 boner.
Someone has got to get in the Finny tube. Why? Plot.
Reasons.
Finny tube.
Yeah, so we also get moving forward of the Tom and B'Elanna relationship. And here's the thing. I like their characters together. I think they've got chemistry like whoa. I think Dawson and McNeil are adorable. I think every scene of them trying to have a relationship is written by a 2-year-old.
Oh yeah, no, they are bad. And they're so frequently just quote-unquote comedy interrupted.
Yeah, like the doctor's in the back. Okay, the doctor in the background saying, "You both have boners. Go fuck, please, and get out of my sickbay." That was a good one. But fine. Otherwise, like they go into the hallway to have a very deep conversation about relationships.
Yeah. In
view of a whole party happening, guys. Go somewhere private. God damn it! There's so many nooks and crannies on this ship.
You both have quarters.
You literally both have boners. Go deal with it.
Speaking of the party, though, Tuvok actually, kind of making some jokes. Good for him.
What was the joke?
Chilling out a little. Fuck, you noticed the first one.
Well, he basically was saying, I've gained a lot of respect for a lot of you, and some of you I've just learned to tolerate. Looks at Paris and Kim, because they were like, haha, live long and prosper. And
then he's all live long and prosper, and it's like, look at you. And he kind of smirked a little. I was like, see, fucking... shit, I've forgotten his real name.
Tim Russ.
Thank you. Tim Russ gets it. Vulcans have emotions. They just don't show them.
Yeah, he is so good at that because I also know Tim Russ as a person would be more likely to be doing pranking on the show than anybody else.
Wonderful.
Because he's just hilarious and he sings songs and he jokes around all the time and he kind of brings that in the Vulcan lens in a way that works and he's just excellent.
Yeah, no, he really is. Do we have anything else on this we want to
No, I was going to try to find a good segue into our blogtivity.
Wait, the ship. the guy's ship had a funny little back window, which was interesting.
We're not talking about it,
Speaking
so...
of ships...
Jesus Christ. Worst one yet. Excellent.
No. Batman!
Yikes. All right, so what I'm doing, folks, is ignoring all of that, and we're moving on to our blogtivity for this week. Y'all will remember that last week we started talking about ship design and ship aesthetics and just general fun shippy stuff. This week we're continuing forward because there's lots of Starfleet ships to talk about, so we're doing more of them. There's going to be a lot of us talking about visuals, so you can make sure that you're checking up with them on our Tumblr page. All the pictures that we're looking at are there. Or, just go find the ships of your own. You probably have models of them. Get them now before Eagle Moss is absolutely dead. May have happened already. Not sure where in the timeline this is coming out.
I know.
Rip Eagle Moss. Wait,
they're going out of business?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It's the
broke,
worst timing because I'm referring to so many Eagle Moss kits in our discussion.
On the other hand, it's the best time because you listeners can save lots of money on their closeout sale, probably.
I don't know. I don't even know. Someone said, posted a screenshot of trying to go through the Eagle Moss website and buy something, and there was just a big error screen.
Wow.
Oh my God.
They shut down fast.
Why?
They went bankrupt. I don't know.
That sucks.
Which is a shame because now they have all new Star Trek ships to talk about.
Seriously.
But we're going to talk about some Starship Shreks. Woof. Very tired.
Yep, we're going to talk about those.
We're talking about Star Trek ships that we've seen before, starting with the USS Enterprise E, which is Sovereign class. It's a big honkin' motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pointy. I like that.
Yeah, it's got some pointies. It's got a kind of almost like a spoon shape saucer, and the cells are very shiny, and I think they're connected with a nice angle that makes them look very streamlined.
Yeah, they almost didn't do that.
Why not? They were originally going to have the struts go the other direction.
They were,
gross.
But luckily, they showed that design to one of the producers or something,
Someone
and they
with
were
sense.
it looks like a trussed up turkey.
Yep. I've seen that picture. It looks like a turkey.
Yep, it does. And they swept him back, and we're like, there we go.
Yeah, that's a ship shape.
Yeah, it's also, I don't know, I like that it doesn't have a goofy neck. The first
Yeah,
time.
finally getting rid of the neck issue. I mean, the Voyager did it first, but this is building on that.
This is a good continuation of that look.
Yeah. She looks a little weird from head on.
How dare you? I'm sitting right here.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is
this
very
one here?
Yeah. Like the head on shot, you're just like, that is bulbous in a weird way. But a lot of these designs, there's certain angles that just, they don't work from.
Yeah, the profile shape of it is very pretty and sleek.
Yeah, most of the angles work really well, but head on, it's not ideal. The Constitution class looks better from straight on.
That's true, it does.
Than this does. But I think, again, all these designs, there's just certain angles that aren't going to work, which is just reality,
Jake requested that I include the Phoenix, because that's something that we saw in the TNG movies.
It's true,
and they do a nice job making a nuclear missile into a ship.
Yeah.
It looks like a lightsaber.
A little bit from this angle, yeah, I can see it.
But with blade guards.
Yeah.
What color would its light be?
Purple.
Depends on what division it's in.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like this one. I like that, we see... I feel like when watching the movie for the very first time in the theater and the nacelles fold out...
Yeah.
It was like a real hero moment.
It's a little fan wank moment of we recognize the cells.
Because you're like, it's a missile. It's shaped like a missile, and then you're like, yeah, and then oh my god, it's got a fucking front.
It's like Star Trek.
Well, what's nice about it is it's kind of fan wanky, but on the right side of the line.
Yeah.
While also hearkening back to the early days of rocket flight, where it's there's stages, things drop off, things pop off, things move into place. It works just right.
And it's the nice kind of stepping stone between the kinds of ships that we would see today, really, and the kinds of ships that you see in the future. This is where the nacelles came from. They used it on this ship, and that's why they use them all the time.
Yep.
You can see a little Zephyr Cochrane in there hanging out.
Yes.
I still don't know how they landed that fucking thing in the end. How did it fucking land?
Parachute.
Upright, like the SpaceX ones, maybe.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the other TNG movie ships that I wanted to share. Let's move on to some Deep Space Nine ships. Not too many. We're going to look at the Runabout, which is Danube-class Runabout, which also Jake requested that I include. And why did you include? Because I know at some point we're going to talk shuttlecrafts, but you said let's not include this in the shuttlecraft conversation, and I forget why.
Because it's not a shuttlecraft. It's a ship. It's got its own registry number.
Don't the shuttles have registry numbers?
No.
They're tied. My distinction would be: do they have their own registry? Are they their own commissioned ship, or are they like tender ships for a larger vessel?
Oh, like the captain's yacht.
Yeah.
Okay, so captain's yacht would go in a shuttlecraft conversation.
That would be in the shuttle.
Got it. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, shuttles usually have their ship's designation and then a number.
Yeah.
Oh.
And like, if you look at like the markings on a shuttle, it'll be like USS Enterprise Galileo. Galileo's the name of the shuttle, but the shuttle is part of the Enterprise's complement.
Yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, these guys are just assigned to Deep Space Nine, not assigned to a starship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean,
they could be. I mean, like the Enterprise D had one. At least.
My God.
Yeah, but they're also just significantly larger. They can be used for longer term missions.
They have warp, which shuttles don't.
Yeah, well, depending on the episode. But yeah, they're more like almost like a small yacht than a shuttle. If we had to make a distinction.
Well, there's the captain's yacht.
Yes.
But again, captain's yacht, part of the complement.
God damn it! This has gotten confusing. Anyway, we're talking.
It's a difference between being its own independent vessel, and being something that is tied to a larger vessel. Yeah,
you could reassign a runabout. You can't reassign a captain's yacht because it slots into that thing under the saucer.
Okay. Meanwhile, looking at the Danube class, it looks kind of like a minivan with nacelles.
Yeah. It's very utilitarian looking, which is appropriate.
Yeah, some of them have the little rolly bar on top kind of thing. Some of them don't.
Yep.
They call it on this graph. They call it the mission specific pod.
There
you go. It's like one of those Thule things that you put on top of your minivan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just highly practical, boxy things.
Yep.
Like an RV in space.
Yeah.
Cute. And they do have some firepower.
Yes, that's true.
They look like paper airplanes. I feel like I could just grab it and throw it and it would go.
Fair.
All right, so that's Danube class. Let's look at the Defiant, the big, tough little ship that we all remember from Deep Space Nine. Cisco's hot rod.
Yep.
Looks like a Super Nintendo controller, like, plug-in.
Yeah, it definitely looks the most different of things in Starfleet because everything else have very noticeable nacelles. Yeah. Meanwhile, this thing, the nacelles are kind of underneath this little encasement.
Yep. Just kind of stuck on there, yeah.
Yeah, so it's got its own, like, very compact shape.
Yeah, still the suggestion of a saucer, a little bit. They haven't completely abandoned Starfleet touches, for lack of a better term.
How does this compare in size to the Grissom?
That's a good question.
Or whatever. Why can't I remember the class name for
them?
Oberth, yes.
I don't know.
There is a size scale chart of all the ships in the shipyards books that I have. I could show you guys later. Maybe I'll find them on our Tumblr page, which you guys can all look at, obviously.
Ooh.
Yeah, because one thing is, I mean, we know it's a very small ship.
Yeah.
But the scale of it is not immediately evident.
No, that's true.
Because there's not really any windows on it, unlike other ships.
No, that's true. Never really thought of that. Very, very submarine-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. In that it's a space submarine.
Overall, I like it, but the nose does kind of remind me of a dustbuster.
Yeah. Now, is that intended to be a docking feature, or is that?
It says it's got the deflector array on it. That there's a detachable warhead.
Oh. But I do remember, like, if you look at the opening of DS9, that does seem to be how it docks to the station.
Yeah.
So it's both, I
I
guess.
wonder if
yeah.
maybe it opens up and you can climb on through it. But
There is like a little
wouldn't-
kind of notch in the bottom. Maybe that's where the door is.
Maybe.
Which makes sense. It's it's a very compact ship, not a lot of room. You gotta kind of put stuff together you normally wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks heavy. It looks like it's just solid and heavy. While most of the other ships look like they're meant for lots of people to be walking hallways in.
Yeah.
This one's dense.
Yeah, it's one of the few like ships they've shown in Star Trek that is like purpose made for war.
Yeah. If you tried to bite this one, you wouldn't be able to bite all the way through it. Well, if you tried to bite another ship, you just bite off a chunk.
Yeah. I like that.
like an ice cream bar.
Yum.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the ships that we've seen so far in Voyager, and then some other ships that are upcoming in Voyager.
Ooh.
The first that we saw in Caretaker was this Maquis Raider that Chakotay was flying around in, the Valjean. Yeah, you definitely get the impression looking at this thing that the Maquis just kind of took other ships and crammed them together.
I don't know why, but like I'm getting whale vibes off of it. Not from these angles, but from the front.
Like a whale?
I think because like I don't know. It's something about just the front end. It reminds me of like a humpback's face.
Wow, like the baleen?
Maybe, I don't know what it is.
I think it just looks like a weird airplane, but not like a real airplane, like a fighter jet from like a 1980s or 1990s, like futuristic shooter top-down type of thing.
Yeah, it definitely has fighter jet vibes with its little wings.
Yeah, and it's like, you even got fucking ailerons at the back.
Pew, 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 pew,
It does sort of feel like generic sci-fi ship and not a Star Trek ship.
A little bit, but also I think it makes sense that that's why it's a Maquis ship.
Yeah, but I guess, and that thing is a lot of these sort of non-sort of like hero species extra ships have that kind of generic sci-fi feel. And this
looks like it would be at home in Star Wars, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or like, again, like a low-budget 80, one of those million sci-fi movies that came out in the 80s trying to capitalize on Star Wars success even. Just like, you could stick this in space in almost any franchise, and you go, yeah, it probably works.
See, I think it looks too fresh and clean to be a Star Wars ship.
Well, in Star Wars, they'd add some scoring and beat it up a little, but...
Fly it into a caretaker array.
Yeah.
What's more familiar, however, is the Voyager, the Intrepid-class ship that we've been palling around with through the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah. It seems... it happened. It was the real timeline, but also it does feel like a step between Galaxy class and Sovereign class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's got the spoon shape.
Yeah, it's got rid of the neck, but it's it's that sort of gray. It's a little less sleek. It's a little chunkier. But it feels like a logical progression between the two.
Yeah. There's no neck. It looks top heavy as fuck, like the Galaxy class does.
Yeah.
And it lands on a planet, but apparently, you know what it is? It's that the warp core is just so heavy, and that's how it keeps from tipping on its face when it lands.
Well, you gotta understand, every pound of dilithium weighs 1,000 pounds.
I've heard that.
But it does, once someone pointed out, though, that, like, from the front, the torpedo arrays and the deflectors just make this little happy face.
Aww.
Oh, they sure do.
And you can't unsee it, and it's like, especially in the angle we've got here, like, it almost looks like Toad.
That's what I was just thinking. It's like a happy little mushroom person.
Aw.
She's the chipperest ship in space.
Yeah, I also do love that her little nacelles do a little flappy when they want to go to warp or something.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice little touch because it's something different. It's something that's dynamic about the ship because it actually moves in a way.
Yeah. Engineering nightmare, though, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I don't know how much we've talked about it, but there's got to be some in-universe explanation.
I think we mentioned it at the time that, like, allegedly, they never actually brought it up in the show, but apparently the idea was it somehow mitigated the going past Warp 5 issue.
Yeah, I think we might have talked about that too.
But I don't think it ever actually came up in the show, so
what's the issue? What's the issue with going past
Warp 5?
Remember
from TNG, that terrible episode?
Oh, yeah, the speed limit.
Yeah, which, like, they actually mentioned a few more times in TNG, which I was surprised by. but it never came up outside of TNG.
Okay.
It only came up in the context of, oh, you are temporarily authorized to exceed the speed limit.
Yeah. It was a bit silly.
Yeah, we gave ourselves this rule that hamstrung us, and then we have to find reasons to break it all the time. Dang it. Yeah,
Cool.
the Voyager's a little silly because it's just so...
Cute.
Yeah, it's just very cute. It's like the Oberth and how cute they are. I find the Oberths adorable.
She's meant to be a short-range scout ship,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense.
She's got feminine lines. she's not a big chunky man ship. She's a sleek girl ship.
All ships, at least on Earth, are she.
Well, this one is more she than others.
All right, a couple other Voyager ships I wanted to make sure we brought up. This one we saw a couple... The last season in Future's End, the Eon, which is a future ship from the future, and it's adorably small.
She kind of looks like a Tholian ship.
A little bit, yeah, because it's just a little wedge.
Yeah.
It's just a small potato chip of a ship. With ridges.
Tilt your head, she's sort of a delta, too.
Yeah,
oh, no!
Get that going
So,
on.
maybe they were kind of going for that. If so, well done.
At least they didn't, draw it all over the ship.
No.
They have some sense of class.
But not the greatest looking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, she's fine.
It does what it needs.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the Flying Wing.
a little bit.
Flying Wing?
Yeah, like the stealth fighter.
What is that from?
The real world.
The United States.
Oh, that's an actual thing that exists.
Yeah, the B2.
Oh.
Which was loosely based off an earlier attempt to make a flying wing in like the 40s or 50s, but basically without a lot of computer assistance, it crashes easily.
Oh, noes.
Yeah, that's why it kind of took a while before they made one successfully.
Okay, so the next couple of ships are going to be ships we haven't seen yet. This one, however, we're going to see next week because this is the Raven.
Caw!
Ravens don't caw.
Clearly
Ah!
designed by the same people that designed the runabout.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I was
very
just thinking
boxy.
It's just a bigger runabout.
Looks like a tricorder.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think it is kind of a bigger runabout.
Is
Because
it a cargo ship or something?
I think it was a science-y vessel.
Oh yeah, NAR. What does NAR mean?
I don't know. Because
It's not Starfleet.
No.
Well, we're going to see it
It's
next week, so we'll be able to tell more about the context next week. But yeah, I think it says even in the descriptions in the Shipyard's book, it's very similar to the Danube class runabouts, except bigger.
Yeah. And I imagine, Jake, to your point, like this one was used for science, but I bet it was one of those, you buy it and then kit it out to your purpose, because it totally looks like it could be a cargo ship just as easily. Like, you leave that big back end for cargo, or you stick in a bunch of sensor suites, or...
You get junk in the trunk.
Just a
Or
big ball pit.
a huge freezer, and it's an ice cream ship.
I
Ooh,
want to
that sounds
visit this ship.
Oh,
That'd be good in an episode. Like, Captain, we are receiving a transmission. Play it. It's the ice cream ship. Pull up alongside.
Yeah, it looks like it's probably only about twice the size of a runabout, though. It's not that much bigger.
Well, I hope they have enough ice cream for everybody.
I like these cells. I don't know why. They're just, they're fun. A little different than we're used to seeing.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay, we're gonna jump. Okay, so this is the stuff that we really haven't seen yet. We'll see these in the future. In the future in Voyager, this is the USS Prometheus, which is just a do-it-yourself kit kind of a ship.
Well,
Yeah.
it's got the multi-vector attack mode.
It is
Tell me about
bastard.
that, because we haven't gotten to it yet, and it's a ship that comes apart and all of its pieces can attack you.
It's ridiculous. The idea is that it's a 3-piece suit of a ship, and when you're in battle, you can separate into 3 independent ships.
Yep.
Most of which have warp, or all of which have warp.
I think the two do, because
I see this one has nacelles, the middle one and the bottom one have
It's got the
nacelles.
quad nacelle look,
Yeah.
which you know how I feel about that, but at least in this case, it kind of makes sense because evidently it's got 2 warp drives. One in there's 2 parts of the ship have warp drives.
Mm.
And then like the saucer section, which is more like the arrowhead section, kind of just doesn't.
That's kind of like what they
Yeah.
do when they saucer separate a galaxy class.
I guess so.
Kinda.
Just kind
I'm-
of leave it for dead.
But this ship is definitely meant for military applications.
Yeah, I remember, when seeing this episode as a teenager thinking it was super cool, and now I'm just like, this is dumb and extra.
Yeah.
I
almost as extra as EMH Mark II.
I wait because I know when we're gonna hit this episode. I'll hold my judgment on what this ship is about until then. I think the look of it, it looks very military because it's got sharp angles. It looks like it wants to stab you.
Like the Sovereign, which, she shares some lines with, terrible from the front. Even worse, actually, just not good.
You know what it is? It's the butthole deflector.
What?
The deflector.
It does have a butthole.
No. The deflector dish.
From the front.
Right.
From the lower right.
The deflector dish in the front.
It looks like a little butthole.
We see that in other ships, though.
I know. The Enterprise E has one, too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think what it is, just the saucer is so wide, but then the engineering section's so narrow, and it doesn't work.
Just show us your balloon knot, Starfleet.
Oh, God.
I've never heard that.
I'm so sorry to have caused that. What the hell is that?
All right, so the next ship that we're going to look at comes from one of my favorite Voyager episodes. This is the USS Relativity. It is a ship from the fucking future, like the Aeon was.
I hate her.
Lies, I love her.
She's got like a shark skin paint job.
Yeah, I love that she's kind of like green-purple.
She looks like a Klingon knife. There's that Klingon knife that kind of looks like that. No, you know what? I'm lying. She looks like one of those old knives that you would thrust into somebody, you pull back on the hilt, and it opens.
Yeah, it's a Klingon knife.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, it's also a real knife, based in human history, as I recall.
For murdering people, Metter?
Yes.
Yeah,
cool.
For murder.
Oh, I don't like her.
Oh, no, I like this one a lot because the shape is just, like, bird-like. It looks very birdy.
It's very organic.
Yeah, I guess, let me rephrase it. I don't dislike it. I just like that they're pretending it's a Starfleet vessel.
Well, it's a Starfleet vessel from, like, the 28th century or something.
I know,
so does that mean
but
we should be seeing them in Discovery?
No, not this one.
We don't know.
This one's special.
no, I don't care that it's too, no, I don't like it.
Damn, harsh, Chris.
Chris has spoken.
Like, you want to tell me this is a Klingon ship? I'll buy it. A Romulan ship? Maybe. Some species we've never seen? Okie dokie. But, no. Oh, God, no.
Man Bridge.
It looks like a bat. Maybe that's why I like it.
Oh, it does
It's
kind of
got
look
little
like a bat.
batty wings.
Yeah.
I hope it'll,
it kind of looks like it's got a little, like, skate or a stingray sort of thing going on.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's also very flat. It's very flat. It's got, like, pointy wingies, a little nose, a little pointy nose.
Yeah, the weird pearlescent paint job.
I like it.
That's anti chronoton plating.
It
prevents chronoton buildup.
Probably.
That sounds right. I wouldn't doubt it. Now, we'll see this one in the future. I also think it looks a little kind of like the Voth ship that we saw the other week.
Although, like, 1,000,000 times smaller.
No, the little Voth ship, not the big one.
Oh, the little Voth ship.
I don't remember the little one too well, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. It had a sleeky little shape with, like, what looked like little bat wings.
Anyway,
we're going to move forward. Okay, we're going to see at some point the USS Equinox, which is another
little baby ship.
Another ship we see in Voyager that
Look at how cute he is.
That is Nova class. Why is he so cute, Jake?
I don't know. Just look how small he is.
Yeah, no, they are crazy tiny. I think
tiny baby ship.
I think they're smaller than Voyager, if I remember right.
Oh, he's smaller than the Defiant. Look at him.
Aww.
Oh, he's real teeny tiny.
He's got like
Very
4
cute.
decks.
I like that he's got like almost the Millennium Falcon kind of notch at the front.
Yeah, it's a weird little saucer. It's almost like a rounded triangle.
Yeah, like a little arrowhead.
Like the Voyager, it's got the double deflector thing going.
Ah, yeah, so it does.
That's a whole new design thing they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's a secondary navigational deflector and the primary navigational
but
deflector.
they have that on Voyager too, so.
Huh.
Little wings on the nacelles. She's all right. Looks a little funny from the side, but in a way I can appreciate.
Yeah, it looks a little stubby. Like,
Yeah.
like the saucer section should be a little longer.
Yeah,
but it's too
alright.
small.
She's like a beluga.
She could just lose a little weight in her midsection. It's
No,
okay.
she's perfect, like a beluga.
Oh, all right.
All right, I love that you're bringing up a lot of whale imagery because I assume I've posted this by now. When we record ahead of time, and I have blog posts in the kicker. We're going to talk about Shark Week in the past, in the future, both at the same time. We're on the USS Relativity now. But no, I have a blog post up that I'll make sure to have shared and share again and share as many times as I can, comparing the ships to different types of shark.
That's amazing.
Sharks.
Okay, and then we're just going to look at a couple Enterprise ships. These ones we haven't seen
It's
yet.
been a long time.
Yep.
Road.
Whatever.
It's been a long ship. And here's the ship, the Enterprise that we see in Enterprise, the NX-01. I like it.
Oh, I love her.
Oh, yeah. it's a
I think this is
beautiful
probably
ship.
one of my, if not my favorite Enterprise, at least for consideration as my favorite Enterprise.
She looks like a casserole dish.
What?
Or that.
I don't see it.
Or like a Dutch oven.
Kinda. I guess so, yeah. Yeah,
Or like at least
nacelles.
the handle, or like the thing that goes on top of the Instant Pot, and then you have to turn to lock.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
It's
thing.
like that thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the part I'm talking about, yes.
But she feels very, sort of, again, she's small. Feels a bit like we're figuring out what we're doing here.
Yeah, I like that it's just the saucer and nacelles,
Yeah.
and there's no need for a body on this one at all, because you're streamlining everything because we don't know what the fuck we're doing yet.
Yep.
This is all we need.
Round windows, unlike later Starfleet ships.
Huh.
They actually had to
Or like
redesign.
portals.
That's what they were going for, and they had to redesign some of the sets because they hadn't mentioned that the windows were round. Actually,
Whoopsie.
I like, similar to the Reliant, they got they went with the nacelles above, whereas on the Reliant, they went for below.
yeah, I think here works above pretty well.
I think so too.
I also think it works because it makes the ship very flat. And I feel
Yeah.
like in the beginning, when you're still figuring out warp, you want as little surface area slowing you down as possible. So you want to make yourself into a little, flat line.
Yeah, it's less warp bubble to make.
Yep. I don't know. I think it's a great ship. I think it would look great on a necklace.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't remember which shark you assigned this ship to in your blog post, but I hope it was a Mako.
I see what you did there.
I think I already did, so you'll have to go check it out on our blog, because that's a great joke. All right, other things we see in Enterprise, and again, I haven't seen much of Enterprise, so I don't have a lot of context for these, but I know...
It looks like it's got a sidecar or something.
Yeah, so this is the NX Alpha, which came before, I guess there's a flashbacky kind of a thing,
Yeah.
came before the NX-01 that we just looked at. So this is the earlier version. The NX Alpha, the NX Beta, I'm told, is almost exactly the same, so we're just going to look at the Alpha.
Yeah, well, they're just the same ship twice over. They're basically just a slightly bigger, purpose-built Phoenix.
Yep. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
they're
literally
kind
Phoenix plus more nacelle.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were consciously designed to look like, what was it, the X1 or whatever,
Oh, maybe.
the first sound.
Yeah.
And that's another actual real life ship?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's an Earthship.
Plane.
Plane, yeah, not a ship.
Plane ship.
Yeah, that broke the
But yeah, it's just, they're test beds for human-made warp engines.
Yeah, and they're basically just a cockpit strapped to a giant fucking warp drive.
Engine. Yeah,
Nice.
they're the Phoenix if Cochrane had time and money and wasn't scrounging together parts.
Yeah, I like that they're kind of finding the missing links
Yeah.
between, this ship and this ship. What would come between them? Well, obviously this one. They're kind of finding the evolutionary pathway of how we get to different ships in the future.
Yeah.
And it's a good job.
Meanwhile, while the humans were struggling to construct these things, the Vulcans were making fun of us the whole
Yeah,
time.
they were.
They think they're building a ship.
Yeah, the Vulcans are the worst in that show.
I look forward to it. All right, another ship in Enterprise that we'll see in the future is the Intrepid. I don't know if we learn what class it is. It might just be its own kind of a thing. But there's a ship called the Intrepid.
Yeah, literally, it's just called the Intrepid type.
Okay.
Like Memory Alpha, Eagle Moss, no one gives it a class name.
Okay. It's got a really, wide, narrow, kind of peanut shell deflector dish.
Yeah, well, actually, so does
The Enterprise has.
Yeah,
that.
the NX1
But this
has
one
that
just
too.
seemed. Oh, does it really? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm noticing it here because it's right in my face.
Oh, yeah. This is much smaller though.
Yeah, this is like something that came before the NX1. It's
Oh, so it's another missing link.
yeah, I
Okay.
want to say like in the show they establish it's basically mostly like Earth and the immediate surrounding area, like security more than anything else. But I might be misremembering. It's got like a half saucer.
Yeah, the half saucer is interesting because it's like just a big
Ooh.
half like a big semicircle, and then wow, my brain farted entirely. What are they? The nacelles, Jesus.
Yeah.
And then the nacelles overlap into it.
Yeah, I always thought it would suck to have the room directly below the Bussard collector.
You just hear
Like-
murr, 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 murr all day.
Well, not just that, you're trying to go to bed and there's just this bright red fucking light beaming in.
into your
I'm sure you can
circle
close
porthole.
Close the blinds, maybe.
Yeah, but you never get to see the stars
Mm.
from your room, you know? It's like, oh, great, I get the nacelle room.
Kind of looks like a moth.
Yeah.
Or a stingray.
Yeah.
And you see the nacelles also have the little winglets on them too.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's a lot of like early jet aeronautics design worked into this. I think, like Jake said, very consciously.
That's smart. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very streamlined. Kind of cool. Okay, the last fucking thing we're going to look at today is the Enterprise J, which is from the 26th century. So it's basically what the Enterprise will look like, however many iterations after the current, most recent Enterprise. And it's just, what?
Terrible.
The answer
It's
is
terrible.
Pizza cutter.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it looks like a pizza.
It's a pizza cutter. It's fucking flat.
It's horrible.
Its profile
Very
looks
pointy.
ridiculous. It looks like a penis.
They took a ship and they made it delta shaped and then slapped on do you see what I mean? Like it's almost like it's got like a delta situation happening
Is
and
it
they
this?
slapped on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like it's clearly meant to
It's on skis.
be reminiscent of the NX1, but it's terrible.
Yeah,
I don't see any NX1. I just see
Well, just like it's just a saucer.
They ran over an Enterprise with a steamroller.
Well, because it's just the saucer, and then the nacelles are kind of above the saucer, and that's it. Like,
I mean, like
It's like that scene in Roger Rabbit.
I think we only ever see this thing on like a computer screen.
Okay.
yeah, any kind
It's
of
not
model
a very clear photo.
is extrapolated from that.
But they've made models of it because
Oh,
they
yeah.
saw it, so it does exist.
It's hideous, and if they want to say this timeline and this ship never happened, I am totally okay with that.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate most things about it.
Apparently, I don't know how true this is, but I read a thing once claiming, they really take the idea of civilian bullshit from the Enterprise D to a whole new level with this one. And that apparently the J is so big, there's a university on board.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So not only is it ugly, it's stupid.
Kill your whole graduating class if this thing goes down.
Seriously.
Bad idea. Yeah.
Fucking idiotic.
I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
All right, so that's all we're going to look at today. Next week, look forward to stuff we really haven't seen yet, and we can just wildly conjecture about as we move forward in talking about Starfleet ships and their aesthetics and all of that kind of stuff. Like I said, you can see all these ships up on our Tumblr page. You can also see our shark comparison post, which is up on our Tumblr, which I'm hoping came off as hilariously as I think it did. Happy Shark Week, everyone. I think this has been a lot of fun. We're going to talk about more next week. The other thing we're talking about next week is more Voyager episodes.
Ooh.
As I alluded to before, we're talking about The Raven, episode 6 of season 4 next week. I wonder what ship we'll see in that. Wink, wink, don't you know? And we'll also talk about the other episode, Scientific Method. So definitely join us next week for that. You can also be catching up with us on the Facebook. You can catch up with us on the Twitter. Make sure you're following along if you missed any episodes. They're all up on our SoundCloud or, any podcast location. We're there.
Clown.
Make sure you've listened to all of it. That's all I've got from me. This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
Jake.
And this is always Chris.
Happy Shark Week.
Woo! Next up in
That was
Revulsion.
revolting.
Eh.
I see what you both did there.